everybody. Bit of a backstep today as we're going to revisit the clan rats, specifically how to paint the Warp Lightning Cannon. This kit can be configured in two ways, one being the cannon, the other being the Plague Claw Catapult, which slings huge bogies at the enemy. Charming, I'm sure you'll agree. According to various Warhammer tomes and sources, the Warp Lightning Cannon works by throwing green lightning bolts at the enemy. Apparently, the technology is way ahead of anything the Dwarves or the Empire have. One saving grace for anyone on the wrong end of it is that it is also hideously unstable and has a tendency to explode due to its design. Alternatively, a Plague Claw Catapult is primarily a siege weapon, and not a very nice one at that. The Skaven load it up with matter riddled with contagion and disease, even fragments of Warpstone, and when there's enough of it loaded up, they lob it at an enemy in a cloud of filth that is so grim it can even bypass some armour. Made up of corpses, poisons, potion cocktails, the Skaven plague monks basically bung all of these ingredients together, and the resultant putrefying liquid kills its victims on contact. The biscuits of choice today are again hobnobs, because I got through lots of these while building the clan rats alongside this, as well as copious amounts of English breakfast tea. Okay, enough background guff, it's paint time. First of all, for our base coats we're going to use Rhinox hide. I'm going to do a Duncan here, so two thin coats to make sure we're covered without obscuring any of the details. Once that's dried, work in a shade of Agrax Earthshade all over the model, ensuring that you get into all the grooves and patterns. With a lot of wooden beams, you want the grain of the wood to become very prominent. Let the Agrax Earthshade dry completely, and once that's settled, you'll be able to see much more detail. Then we're going to bring up the colour a bit by gently scuffing a fine layer of Golfall Brown all over the model. Get as much off the brush before you flick your brush all over the model, and in that way the grain will become even more visible, and what you'll end up with is a more worn and solid wooden effect. Because there are clearly defined planks on the footboards and within the wheels, you might want to consider using another brown, such as Mornfang Brown or Dryad Bark, to accentuate the differences in tone between shades. It's a matter of choice, and it is something that can be done at a later stage if you prefer. The Warpstones are the pivotal part of this piece, I think. Here we're covering the main crystal, the tip of the cannon and the internal shaft running through the barrel with Warpstone glow. Next, going to use a coat of Biltan green over these areas, and while waiting for that to dry, you know the drill. Just don't leave crumbs on your painting desk. A gentle dusting of Moot Green next to lighten and catch the edges of the crystals. This doesn't take long to dry at all, barely 10 minutes if that, and on top of this we're going to use Tesseract Glow as a final touch. Tesseract Glow is a new technical paint from Games Workshop, and you'll have to shake the pot well before use. Some people add one or two small ball bearings to the pots to help mix them up a bit. If you prefer to mix things up like this, flip up the top, plant your balls, give it a good shake, and when you're good to go, you're on track to give the brush a good coat. Work on a shaft at the tip and the base, and by delicately working it in, you'll definitely be pleased once you've finished. Now it's time to do all the metal work around the wheels, cogs and other bits and pieces. For this, I'm using Lead Belcher for the wheels, the cogs and spikes, and Screaming Bell for the cannon barrel and other areas where brass would be used. One thing to be careful of with this particular model are the blades at the front. Not only did I drop a camera on it and break off one of those blades during filming, I also managed to stab myself in the finger with one. Seriously, if you do snap one of the blades off, get a fine nail file pad, gently sand down both ends, then glue together. Give it a few hours to settle and you should be good to go again. By now, you should have also noticed that there are one or two electrical cables snaking in and out around the cannon. In this case, we're going to use some primary base colours to bring these out, and note that they seem to be clipped to the contraption with metal clips. Another good excuse to get the lead belcher out. The colours I've used here are the base paints Avalon Sunset, which gives a nice solid yellow colour, Caliban Green, Joke Arrow Orange, Mephiston Red, Macragge Blue and Nagaroth Night. Time to add the crew of the cannon. This model comes with a captain holding a rangefinder and 2 mechanics. I thought that it would be nice to have the commanding rat situated on his own base, while the clan rat of the spanner stands alongside the cannon, and the last chap, the little fellow pulling the lever, is actually standing inside the cannon on the platform. You can see how I painted these 3 fellows in my clan rats video. These 3 models were painted separately with the other clan rats and glued on after finishing the model prior to basing. On the lenses of the rangefinder that the gun captain is holding, I have used Soulstone Blue to give a nice glass effect. As with all the other clan rats, I'm using Stirland Battlemire to base the cannon, and once that's dried, you can add the odd splodge of Stirland Battle Mud to complement the mix if you prefer. And there it is, another tabletop piece that adds a bit of weight to my Skaven army. What I might do later is get 2 more Warp Lightning Cannon kits, build another one, and a Plague Claw to really make my Skaven clan rats a force to be reckoned with. So, a quick video today, but I hope you enjoyed it nevertheless. As always, if you want to see more of the same, why not like, share and subscribe to Out to Lunch, as well as follow our Facebook, Twitter and Instagram pages. There is a guide on today's build as usual, which can be found on the OTL website, and it will give you some hints and useful tips. Anyway, must dash. See you next time.